Hello viewers, just checking our vegetable garden and picking some beans and zucchinis and stuff. So I'll show you what we've picked so far. We're still very restricted in what we can grow, mainly because of rain and water, as I've mentioned in previous video. But all in all, we've had some good rain, good showers, foggy nights, that sort of thing, keep the moisture up a little bit, and it's starting to produce very well. One of the things that people may not know, and I'll put a link down below, and please do your own research, is that bean leaves and flowers like that, that's a bean leaf, there's a couple of flowers in there somewhere, are edible. You can use them in cooking, some styles of cooking, steaming, boiling, stewing, whatever the case may be, they are edible. And the same with vegetable garden peas. The runners and the leaves and the flowers on those are also edible. Now I'm not saying grow them and pick and harvest all the leaves and flowers off the beans and peas, obviously, because that doesn't do the plant much good. It can help just do a very light harvest to promote growth. The same as picking the vegetable or the beans or the peas off the vines. It promotes growth, more flowers and so on. Okay, type of beans we've got growing here at the moment, and we have grown them years before in good seasons. What I call snake beans, that's what I used to call them when I was a kid back home, when Mum and Dad used to grow their own stuff. They're called long beans actually, but hey, it's local slang, we call them snake beans. We've also got purple climbers here. They do grow here very well, we've known that from past years. It's a purple coloured bean, a delicious bean actually, and people say purple beans, oh yuck, they're not the typical supermarket green ones. No, they're not. When you cook them they turn green. Okay, so, and we've got bush butter beans down there that have done very well, considering all things considered, in the last couple of months. So we've been harvesting them every day, and I think these beans are sort of on their last legs at the moment, but we've also been harvesting a lot of these beans, the different varieties, for the seeds, because the ones we managed to get were harvested, were heritage seeds. So we're harvesting the seeds to plant again. We might get another season in before winter closes in here. We might not, I don't know. So that's something that we've sort of got an eyeball a bit in the future, or we can wait till next spring. So we'll go around. We've got zucchinis growing over there. They're the yellow type of zucchini. They're doing very well. And we've got some silver beet there that we've been harvesting, water it, and it keeps growing. So it's been doing remarkably well. However, the grasshoppers like them. They've been having a good feed on them. Okay, so I'll just have a zip around and show you what I've harvested so far. It's just the two of us at home, so there's more than a meal there in vegetables and the zucchinis and beans and stuff. There's more than one meal. So what we're doing is that what we don't use for a meal we're blanching it and freezing it. Now you can preserve it different ways, obviously. People pickle them, dry them, whatever the case may be. So that's what we're doing at the moment, because we've been fairly busy, and I've got a huge bundle up there on the veranda drying out for seed saving. And it brings up another point with vegetables such as that, and pumpkins is another good one. I think zucchinis, cucumber, is the seeds themselves. You seed save to plant the next crop for the next season, or you might get two crops in a season. But what about the seeds themselves? You can store them, because obviously they're edible, but you can find recipes, make recipes out of just the seeds themselves if you're not using them for seed saving. Okay, it's another source of food, stored food, your own homegrown food. Okay, something to think about. There's lots of recipes on the internet. I'm not going to go into it. Do your own research. There's lots of different ways of doing it. So you pick up a tin of baked beans. Well, obviously that little baked bean came out of a bigger bean, and they've cooked it with tomato sauce, or tomato sauce if you want to call it that, or something else, whatever. But you get the gist of what I mean. It's not just the seeds for seed saving. You can also use the seeds as a food storage item, a source of protein if you like, for further down the track. Use it in different styles of cooking, stews and whatever. So anyway, we'll go and have a look at what we picked, and we'll go on from there. Okay, this is what I've just picked, harvested, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we've got the yellow zucchini here. We have grown green ones here before and they do quite well. We also got these long beans, snake beans I used to call them as a kid. They've got a very strong flavour as a young bean. As a kid I didn't particularly like them, but then in those days people used to boil the bejesus out of it and serve it up on a plate. But there's lots of different recipes these days, very versatile. Over here we've got the yellow butter bush beans. We've had a very good cropping of them, and yeah, there's one there, just there. It's an old one I found, so that's just that. I'll harvest the seeds out of that. The purple climbers, these ones, delicious bean they are, they really are. And there's a purple climber there that's dried out on the vine or the creeper, so I can harvest the seeds out of that. What we're also finding is too that we're picking pretty much every day, harvesting, and we're finding that some of the beans have been chewed by something. It looks like, from what I understand, what I can see is probably mice. They're actually picking the seeds out of these beans. And Queensland, some parts of Queensland and New South Wales are undergoing a huge mouse plague at the moment. We have got field mice here, and it's just one of those things. They'll just about eat anything when they're hungry. But here in front of us we've got our zucchini plants. Okay, they're doing quite well, all things considered. But as I mentioned in a previous video, the flowers and the leaves are also edible. Now, some of these leaves have got what they call a mould or mildew on them. Okay, because we've had some humid weather, we've had some foggy nights and so on. It's heat, warmth, it's perfect conditions for mould to grow. And we even got these little things here munching away on it. Many years ago we used to go and pick berries on a commercial farm just across the highway here, and back in those times they had a very wet season where the berry vines or canes, the leaves used to get mould on them, and of course it does affect the productivity of the plant. But back in those days, and I don't know if it's still the same today, and it may vary from state to state, country to country, it was an organic farm, and what he used to do is he'd go to one of the local dairy farms, and buy milk, mix it up with a bit of water and spray it, and it killed the mould. Now by law, particularly in my state and also the other states in Australia too, I guess, the dairies aren't allowed to sell fresh milk out of the cow, out of storage, to the general public. It's got to be homogenised, pasteurised, bastardised, how many different types of milk there are, whatever. They can sell it as a insect repellent or some sort of agricultural organic pesticide for things such as leaf mould. So you may want to check that out. Not sure what the laws are now, but as a natural pesticide, it does work. We saw it work on the berry farm across the highway many years ago. Well, viewers, yeah, it's Sunday. A lot of yardies out on the road. So that's pretty much it. Quite pleased with that harvest. It hasn't been as good as it has been in previous years, But hey, you've got to roll with the dice, and we've had to reduce our planting of various types of vegetables because resources, as I mentioned before, particularly water and heat. Alright viewers, you all have a good day, be safe, be well.